Welcome to another episode of 3.5 Gentlemen, the podcast, where 3 of the 4 hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis to movies from our private collections, while one of us tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my fellow Daily Planet reporters, Jeremiah.
Because I'm a punk rocker, yes I am.
Eddie.
I don't need your goddamn help. I'm Mr. Terrific.
That's good.
And Brandon.
Brain beats brawn.
I knew you were going to go with a Lex Luthor.
Yo.
I mean,
No, that was technically a Superman.
that was Superman coming back. Like, Lex, watch this, fucker.
As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question: how many drinks does it take to get through the film that we just watched? Now, at the end of the podcast, we'll rate the film based on the scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being a perfect film that you could watch stone cold sober, and 5 being sort of the film that makes you feel like you have nanobots filling in your lungs and suffocating you from the inside out. Yeah, our boy got his ass beat in this movie.
Multiple times, over and over and over.
Multiple times.
From first shot to the end. Anyway, tonight, if you haven't caught on, we are tackling a brand new film just released in theaters. That's 2025 Superman, which will kick off the most recent DC universe. Will it succeed, Sean? Who the hell knows at this point? That said,
I'm still waiting for Batman 2, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, that said, Superman takes place 3 years after the eponymous superhero has donned his cape. In the film, we see Superman balance his regular life as Clark Kent, his love life with Lois Lane, his public persona as a do-gooder, and try to defeat his arch-nemesis Lex Luthor with the help of the Justice Gang before warring countries collide and the world splits in two, literally. Listen, this was directed by Guardian of the Galaxy helmer James Gunn and stars David Corenswet as Metropolis' hero. Superman has an IMDb rating of 7.7 out of 10 and has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 83% with the critics and an audience score of 93%, though granted this is taking place, 3 days after it was released? 4 days is when we're recording this, so who knows where it's at right now. This film grossed $122 million in the U.S. box office and $217 million globally, so it is...
It's making money. It's doing the job. It's making him look good. It's making James Gunn look good.
Yeah, that gamble.
We've heard from some of you listeners that it's difficult to share our podcast because the name is a little hinky on all platforms. So we want to make it easy for you. The name of our podcast, if you're listening on anywhere podcasts can be found, and YouTube, is 3 THREE space the and sign space the number 1/2 and the word gentleman. So 3.5 gentlemen. and it's, I'm sorry, that's the way we spelled it initially, and so people are having trouble with it, and I apologize for that, because that is fully on Instagram.
It's the wonders. It's the wonders. At the Gentleman Podcast. So you can find us there, where Jeremy works really hard to bring you great material every week to keep up with kind of what we're doing, what's coming up, and some Gentleman Weeklies and all sorts of stuff. So I really want to jump into this movie. Personally, this was the most important movie for me in 2025. This is the one I wanted to watch more than Fantastic Four, more than Jurassic World. This was the movie I've been waiting for, because I was hoping that James Gunn would deliver me with all the stuff that they had talked about and all the respect they had for the original story and character, that they would deliver me a Superman film, finally, that would meet my expectations. And I have just come to the conclusion that my expectations are vastly too high. Now, a lot of it was good, don't get me wrong. A lot of this movie was very good. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a Superman movie. It was just one more comic
Guardians
entry
of the Galaxy
into the pantheon
6
of poor comic book movies. So, where do you guys want to start? You want to start with the casting?
I want to start with the music. I know that it sounds weird, but I want to start with the music. And I wanted I'm going to Sean, because listeners, viewers, you should know when we did Superman, the original film, and I gave it a worse score than Sean thought I should have. Sean is our resident Superman fanatic, right? He's our Jimmy Olsen. And so I want to just ask you guys, but also mainly Sean, were you okay with the fact that they took the score from the original film, the Richard Donner film, and then they just added some little bit more guitar? Yeah. So were you upset that they took the original song and didn't come up with a brand new score?
I want to just use the original score. Get rid of everybody else. John Williams is the greatest living composer for movies of all time. I don't care. He is. He's the greatest living composer for movies of all time. This is probably one of the greatest scores of all time. Just use the fucking score. You can add it in action scenes. You can change it. You can augment it. You can do whatever you want. But the Superman theme is the quintessential piece of music that ties audiences to character. All they did was butcher a beautiful score, and it didn't work for me at all.
I'm going to be on the other side of this ladder here, listeners. I actually thought the music in the background from John Murphy, which he's one of our favorite composers, echoing John Williams' famous score, I thought that it was able to bring the music to this movie and it brought the legacy back, which I really enjoy the shit out of that, actually. So I thought it was a really cool vibe. And I'm glad that they didn't try to do a different type of thing, because you can't do John Williams' score on this. So you try to do something that almost sounds like a ghost of John Williams into this movie, and I thought they did it really well, especially with the opening title.
I mean, with Superman movies, they always have the same old school original Superman theme. Yeah, they didn't have that. Did they have that?
No. Hardly.
Yeah, and yeah, they hardly had that. Like, there was moments where it's like, okay, maybe it's like it gives a little bit of throwback, but instead what they did, they gave the throwback, but they took away the OG-ness to it. I'm gonna say they took away some good themes from Superman that if you were to throw that in there, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the Superman themes. Instead, I got John Murphy vibes. Was John Murphy in this? Jeremiah, was he helped or what? I really enjoy him, so I'm going to mark my score a little bit lower because of that. I didn't know that. But overall, it still didn't hit as well as I thought it was going to hit.
And I swear to God, it could have taken one time. One use would have been all I needed.
That's all I wanted to. I swear to God, that's all I wanted.
I never got OG. He never put his arm out. He never. There's some quintessential Superman things that he never did.
It's also when he rips off his shirt or he's changing into Superman.
Cool.
Yeah. They didn't have that.
Well, it's because they don't have phone booths anymore, Ed. That's why. God damn, we live in the. So yeah. So well, here's my thought. Is I'm a little bit torn, Jer. I hear exactly what you're saying. That it is. It was a great reimagining of it. I mean, I think it was a good, well done reimagining. My problem, and I'm going to expand on this more throughout, is this movie to me took such a left turn from Superman, right? Where it made it kind of this irreverent comedy. It was playing it more for the slapstick laughs. And I mean, that's the James Gunn way. I know that's the James Gunn way. I don't want it to be overly serious. I don't want it to be necessarily the Dark Knight or anything like that. But what I did think is that if you take it this far this way, then in that case, just sever the past, right? Just separate yourself from the past and just come up with a brand new score. At that point, I think you're saying this is a retooling of this character. It's a retooling of the DC universe, which granted has been needing the retooling over and over and over. But to me, it's this idea of holding onto the shred of the past while everything else goes haywire this way. It just felt super imbalanced.
To me, throughout the whole movie, if you're gonna describe this as anything, is they took the top layer off of Superman and did it really well. The top layer, like if there's 5 layers to Superman, the top layer being the costume, the chemistry, the casting, the look, the overall arching feel of the movie.
The world
they got
building.
all that. Yeah, they got all that pretty good. But then the heart and the conscience and the integrity and all of the stuff that builds Superman underneath, it's almost like they threw it out the window and said, well, we're going to create our own type of character. And he's just going to be like everyone else.
What did you guys think of the title card? I mean, this was kind of a first thing to watch this. I mean, how they really kind of broke it down where they explain about, here's 3,000 years and then 300 years and 30 years and 3 years.
A lot of
and
numbers
then all of a
to
sudden,
keep track of.
Like, seriously, I mean, I'm pretty glad that Gunn did it this way. I mean, how many origin stories do we need to tell the same fucking story, right? I actually thought it was pretty cool that it opened up with a white blank canvas where it's actually kind of like endless possibilities. I thought that was kind of cool in a way, but it was also kind of weird to see our hero failing for the first time and this guy got knocked the fuck out. And you're like, whoa, okay, this is how you're going to start the film. What was your thought process? That's my question.
I thought it was the right idea, the wrong execution, which is going to be the theme of this whole podcast for me, is good ideas, bad execution. You have something called the Daily Planet.
is the perfect way to get that information out to your audience, because they are a news organization. You could have had a news reporter. You could have had so much to integrate the Daily Planet and where they work, and instead you gave
newspaper
us
on
more
the
of,
screen.
exactly. You gave us more of a Blade Runner. The year is 3000. Like they almost went sci-fi instead of old school, and I personally, and this is just a criticism, like I said, right idea, wrong execution for a Superman movie.
When the whole city was tearing apart itself, it seemed like no one even cared until I think Lois Lane was like, it finally was reaching to an area where there's a little bit more people than other places, and she's like, "There's people over there." It was like people down 50 miles. It just ripped up the country. Like, so it made me felt like this. They just pretended like, oh, let's just not talk about that. Let's just push it aside. Sean was saying, great ideas, just poor execution with Superman, and some of the legit storylines of Superman. They just said, oh, we're not going that route.
I do want to talk about some hugely positive things about this movie. Hugely positive is the cast. I thought the guy who played Superman was absolutely perfect. There is nothing wrong with him. He was. I'm very much looking forward to new projects with him. He had the hair. He had the demeanor. He had the voice. He had the size. I loved Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he had the heart. I feel like he had the heart
Superman,
too.
but this guy has something special. And then the second thing that this guy had that I don't think Henry Cavill and who was the girl in Man of Steel?
Oh, that was Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
I don't think they had very good chemistry. I think that the two leads in this movie had enormously beautiful chemistry. They bickered, they fought, they were on each other's side, they loved each other. There was no problem believing that they were in love and a couple and struggling a couple. There's no problem with that whatsoever. I thought that was a beautiful relationship with two very good actors.
I agree with you 100% on this. I thought David and Rachel, it was like sex on fire. I mean, it was everything that the materialist wishes it could have been. And that movie was fucking shit. 3 people in the movie, no chemistry whatsoever. You have David and Rachel that barely have scenes in this movie. It was nice. It was nice to see that passion between Lois Lane and Superman. The problem about this movie I had issues with is that there was no Clark Kent. There was limited Clark Kent in this movie. And that would have been nice to see more of that.
Daily Planet. And I know we got to see Jimmy a little bit. We got to see my mind's going blank, the boss. But I would have loved
Perry
to have seen going along. Yeah, Perry. I would love to have seen a little bit more of the Daily Planet team. Right. I know that we have it when they're off in the little spaceship thing, but
this is where they fucked off the plot. Because if you just stick to this invasion plot where one country is invading another country, you can have catharsis, man. You can have this beautiful conversation at the Daily Planet about what they're going to cover, about who's their allies, about who's their axis, what's going on, why should Superman get involved. This movie opens up the opportunity.
Ethical reporting.
I'm so glad.
I think that's
right. You have this, but you have this beautiful opportunity set up by James Gunn, which once again, right idea, wrong execution. And Superman's mandate has always been be a light. I mean, Jor-El said it in the very first movie beautifully. They could be a great people, Kal-El, if they wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. That's why I sent them you, my only son. He is supposed to be the light that shines on people and inspires them to be better people, to set aside their weapons and set aside their prejudice and their bigotry and be better humans. That's Superman's whole idea. Yeah. It could have been the best cathartic, beautiful movie about ethical choice ever. And instead you had an eye alien floating in the distance. Green Gardener.
I actually thought that was I thought that was a funny scene. Actually, I love that scene.
No. Sean, I want to go on record right now and say that I appreciate you and I agree with you. And that's that's not something that happens a whole lot. I really enjoyed parts of the conflict, but to me, this is an issue that I have found is happening more and more in cinema. I feel like is that directors and writers and producers and probably studios are trying to jam pack too many different storylines into each film. One of the things, and I said this, it had to be a year and a half ago on one of the movies that we were talking about reviewing, is that when we go back and we review movies from the 80s and the early 90s and the early 2000s even, but they're effective, they're beautiful movies because they focus wholeheartedly on one or two storylines and on 3 or 4 characters. I feel like every movie that we're watching nowadays, and I think that one of the best movies to come out in the last 5 years, I think, is Into the Spider-Verse, and I think the sequel is a great film too. But that's just one example of, I think, what we see here too, and that's just these storylines are getting compounded upon each other so many times that it's like, where is our head supposed to turn? Where are we supposed to look? What are we supposed to really focus on? We had the conflict between the two countries. We had Lex Luthor, and what is he actually going to do? We have the rift that's going to open up a black hole. We have Mr. Fantastic, who's got to go and stitch together the black hole. We've got this whole underside, parallel universe. We've got Lois Lane. We've got so many different things. It's too complex, but I do think that if we got more direct, streamlined storylines, and we said, hey, let's take these 3 different storylines and let's make them into 3 movies, you would have so much more focus on characters, and yes, more character development, that we would actually give a shit about what happens to them, rather than saying, oh, we got to tie up this, and we got to tie up this, and we got to tie up this. Failed on that regard is that it tried to do too many different things.
It was like trying to become way too funny. And I'm going to be real, Lex Luthor is usually 5 steps ahead of Superman, or tries to be at least. I felt like this Lex Luthor, he was a great actor. I enjoyed it. But overall, it made him feel like he was relying on other people too much with his moves. Like he was like playing like a video game with doing moves. Like usually Lex Luthor is above that, and he has other people. I don't know.
Well, Lex Luthor, if you look at him in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, I thought he was fabulous. When the scene where Superman breaks into his office because he stole Krypto, and he picks up his coffee cup and the desk goes flying, that is perfection. Lex Luthor. You can't get better than that. And then throughout the film, he unravels, and I blame James Gunn because James Gunn doesn't. I don't think he knows how to direct. I think he's.
Well, I don't think he knows subtlety.
I don't think he knows subtlety at all. But that's what I love about Nicholas Hoult is a very subtle, very beautiful actor. The speech he gives at the end, okay, the where he's emotionally screaming at the screen and basically arguing with Superman from miles away, that should have been done in almost a whisper, not a whisper, but a very soft, subtle, quiet,
Gene Hackman,
controlled voice. And I'm not saying everything has to be the same, but you have to understand that Lex Luthor as a character is not emotional. He doesn't care about being better than Superman. He cares about winning.
I agree.
I actually really enjoyed this Lex Luthor for the first time because I've never seen him as like this version. It was nice to see him being all powerful and dangerous at the same time. And that's a good villain to have, for like Superman, I thought.
I don't see him as dangerous. I didn't see him as dangerous, though.
See, and here's
he
where
was
once
pretty
again,
dangerous in this movie.
Great ideas, poor execution. Because if you get rid of the split universe and his pocket universe or whatever, and just bring it to regular humanity and just regular non, alien bullshit, and you have him lining up people that Superman has saved, helped, or influenced over the years. It was a great scene. It was one of the best scenes in the movie, but it was ruined by a joke and by trying to be funny. It's like Lex Luthor just killed a man in cold blood because he talked to Superman on one of the days. That's maniacal. That's horrible. That's the Lex Luthor I want. But I want him to be calm and quiet. You don't beat him with strength and kryptonite. You beat him by destroying the things that he loves.
I totally agree with half of what you guys are saying. I was just sitting there and just thinking, like, I think this is one of the very first movies that actually brings up a comic book element to life. Like, I feel like I was reading an open comic book, that type of style. Not everything he needs to be the Dark Knight or needs to be graphic or needs to be realistic, This movie is the most comic book movie that you will probably get for a long time because it felt like you just got it from the comic book pages.
But let me ask you, Jer. I want to ask you, Jer. Do you think that this movie was silly for the most part?
Of course, but I'll say this:
but
every Superman movie is silly. Yeah,
is it though?
Watch the first one, watch the second one, watch the third one, and the fourth one. It's a silly thing, dude. Trust me, you guys will.
Clark Kent is silly. I think Clark Kent is silly, but I think that there's this aura around Superman, and I'm not saying we can't mess with the aura a little bit, but I do think that when when I walked into this movie theater and I sat down to watch Superman, I wanted some reverence, I guess.
Substance.
I wanted some gravitas. I wanted some substance, right? And instead, I said it earlier, it became this irreverent comedy. And that's the, I know you guys have given me shit over the years about hating, and I do mean hating, Guardians of the Galaxy for this exact same reason. And sure, there are some people who just comedy wise you just don't match up with, right? Amanda hates Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell is humorous a lot of the time. Sean, you don't like Will Ferrell that much, right? So you have comedy that you like, you have comedy you don't like. I don't appreciate, I don't find it very funny, all James Gunn's comedy. But to me, it almost becomes, and I don't want to throw this around willy-nilly, but sacrilegious to do this comedy to a character like Superman.
Here's where I don't agree with you, and I do agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you that he's silly, and I agree that Guardians of the Galaxy is silly. But there is no more emotionally moving scene than in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 when Groot, who only says I am Groot the whole fucking movie, takes his entire team and builds a ball around them to save them and essentially sacrifice himself to save his family, to save his team. That was an emotionally cathartic and beautiful moment. And my question is, where the fuck is that here? Where is that moment where Superman decides that he's going to sacrifice himself? I mean, the closest we get is the Kent farm.
I'll tell you what type of Superman we got in this one. A person that would save an animal. A person that would save a squirrel. A person that loves life and humanity and saves people. That's the Superman that we got in this film. I mean, literally, he actually turns himself in only because he wants to make sure that he can save the dog. And the reason why he wants to save the dog, this crazy dog, is that he might be alone and might be scared. I mean, that's the Superman for you right there, man. That's
right.
Pretty cool.
And that was a great moment. Jared. But my problem is I want that vibe. And trust me, Corenswet, he was fantastic. He was fantastic. But I want that character to be the Rock. Let everybody else be over the top silly, except for maybe Lex Luthor. But man, when you're right, that scene right there, I would argue rivals any of the empathetic moments that you have in
there
great
was some
dramas.
beautiful, like I said,
absolutely,
there was some beautiful moments in the movie. I just wanted something different. I wanted something better, and they gave me just mediocre. I don't need to see Superman save buildings. One building, one. He can stop one building. It's fine. Everything else, leave New York alone. Leave Metropolis alone. It's fine. You don't have to show me it.
Leave Cleveland alone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, going off what Sean's like, Superman was always known for, he took the best of both human and also, what's his metahuman? What is he?
Alien, but yeah, he'd be alien.
Yeah, alien. But like he took the best of both sides and he was able to like find the balance. Like he almost gave up with his family a little bit when he found the truth. And he never gave up. That's not Superman. Superman never gave up that side of him. Like I felt like they were gearing up for the next generation to keep Superman alive. So it's like they were stripping him of some other things. They're trying to find new audiences for Superman. That's how I felt. So they were getting rid of some of the old stuff that was in all these other Supermans, and it's like, oh well, this is the new Superman. And to my boys, they enjoyed it. But overall, they don't know the other Superman, so it's like it was kind of like,
They ruined Jor-El. They ruined one of the greatest characters of all time. They ruined the integrity that came with the Kryptonian landscape and the Kryptonian people. They were Jor-El was a leader of industry. He would never have condoned, hey, procreate the earth with little super babies. No, that's just such bullshit. What there should have been is a misinterpretation of the language.
I still think we got that.
1 word, 2 words, because she should not have been go be the conqueror of Earth. He should have been, be the savior of Earth. I was happy to see Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper looks really good all of a sudden again. I don't know what he's done, but he's just so bright. Anyway, the actors that played him in the history of Marlon Brando, and then you had a beautiful portrayal by Russell Crowe, and then you had a beautiful portrayal by Terrence Stamp in Smallville, and they all had the same motive.
Stamp?
Yeah,
Terrence
he played Jor-El.
But he was General Zod, right?
It was.
That's fucking awesome right there. That's great casting there.
He was fabulous, and his whole thing was you need to be strong enough to be you need to be strong enough to dominate, but kind enough to know when to stop. That was his whole motive. And then Jonathan Kent had the other side of it, which was humanity trumps ambition. That whatever your ambitions are, humankind is more important.
Yeah.
It missed a mark so far that I don't think they can come back from it. But I still am looking forward to Superman 2.
Before Brandy goes, I have a feeling that they're going to actually go back into that and probably get a misquote or something like that to really get more of an understanding. Because there's no way they're going to fucking just like fucking take that apart like that.
So I do want to talk a lot about the Justice Gang, and I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on Supergirl, but also just the Justice Gang in general, because I think there's lots of positives that we could talk about with the gang itself.
I'm going to say the Justice Gang I really enjoyed. I fucking love Nathan Fillion. I actually think he stole some of the parts of the movie because I just thought he was just great, you know? Even like our girl from The Last of Us, you know, Isabel, you know? I mean, she was good. She was good. You know? I really enjoyed it. Mr. Terrific, even the guy from Barry, Anthony Carrigan.
No,
I mean, yeah, that was him.
It wasn't the lead character from The Bear. It was
it was the mafia guy. They just came into the movie when they needed to come into the movie, you know? I mean, I don't like too many new characters, and I don't know too much about Superman's background and shit. I'm completely left field on that, but I thought it was fun. Like, it felt like a comic book movie. That's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, I thought that the Justice Gang was a bright spot in the movie. I thought Mr. Terrific was terrific. I would have made this conflict incredibly serious and given it a substance, given it something. Because when Guy Gardner goes in, when Nathan Fillion goes in, who I thought the only thing bad about Nathan Fillion was that god-awful haircut.
That's the point.
when he goes in and he tells the kid Superman couldn't make it, but I'm here, so it's okay, or whatever he says.
It's a server upgrade. You got a server upgrade.
Yeah, server upgrade. And then he's got the middle fingers knocking down the tanks.
My kids love that.
Yeah. Oh my God, Sawyer loved that.
To have the comedy in the movie, and allow Mr. Terrific a couple of scientific, fun quips where he was, intellectually superior. I think that it would have been a better movie. It would have been enough. Once again, if you have Alan Tudyk or Tudyk and Nathan Fillion in the movie, let them cook. Everyone else cannot be funny and it'll be perfect. Let them cook. Let Nathan Fillion be Nathan Fillion. Let Alan be Alan.
Yep.
His comment at the very beginning of the movie that I think he overestimates the fact that I could care less or not if Krypto dies because I'm a robot and he's just a dog. I mean, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Gary, his name is Gary. My positive definitely is Nathan Fillion was great. Mr. Terrific was outstanding, and I'm so
he stole it
glad
a couple times.
that actor, I think it's Eddie Gareth or Garag, something like that.
Yeah, he was in Twilight.
Was in House a decade ago. And he was wonderful,
Good actor.
in House. Glad to see him finally getting some recognition that he deserves because he's
definitely
a wonderful actor. As far as Hawk Girl concerns, I don't know why they keep putting the Hawk people in the movies. It's like it's free IP. I feel like it's just open source IP that they just keep throwing in the movies because it's cheap. The Hawk people, Hawk Girl and Hawk Guy, whatever.
I have no idea who they are.
They have the worst story. The worst story in the history. One of them always has to die at the hands of the other. And so one of them is always alive, one of them is always dead. And then they go, and as soon as the girl dies, they'll be reincarnated and they'll do it again. And it's the stupidest fucking story.
It was a nice call out to, I want to say it was like their Justice Hall. Like, cause that's from the comic books. So I started,
League,
I started seeing like, oh, this is like a call out to like I remember this from the cartoons. Hot Girl, she was actually really cool in the comic books. So it was cool to see like these characters are from, I mean, you hate that haircut that Fillion has, but that's from the actual cartoon. He had a horrible haircut in it, but it made me laugh. So, but I wish that they had a little bit of a call back of like why. Because there's a lot of other people that weren't there, so it's like, where are they at? Did they die, or they have not come yet? I want to know.
God's monster era.
I want to know what happened. I want to know what happened to them. Let's talk about them. It's too funny. It's too like fuck you. Well, fuck you too.
They did give you a little inkling of what that group was. It was Maxwell Lord who had created, using his wealth, and kind of got them together, and that he was played by Sean Gunn.
That was pretty cool.
I have a very big feeling that some of those scenes were cut because this movie was getting a little long in the tooth there. I mean, I even leaned over to Eddie going, are we still fighting? Like, we're fighting the same Same battle here. Let's move us along a little bit. Overall, the movie was enjoyable for audiences that know nothing about Superman. So I understand why it's doing so well in theaters, because for the first time in DC history in the last 12 years, you actually have a movie that's quasi enjoyable. Like, it's fun to watch. There's a lot of, it's fun.
They're creating from
Got a lot of
scratch.
good characters. Yeah. I feel like, everything, it's not dark and depressing and nobody's dying.
This is like for the new generation kids to like really find how they're Superman, which is, I thought that was pretty cool, man.
But the cost has been the bastardization of one of the greatest stories in history, which is Superman. So I'm not sure that the cost was worth the result.
Let's see what happens with the next one and see what this era happening, because the Gods and Monster era sounds really interesting, especially they're saying that metahuman's been around for 3,000 years. That's I don't know, that sounds really like, oh, okay. Well, here we go. We'll see how it goes.
For the first time, and Jerry, I know you might be a little bit more of an outlier, and it's okay. We still love you. I feel like we're all kind of in agreement. I'm interested to see what the score is going to be, but we're all kind of in agreement that the movie wasn't bad, but the vibe was just off. Like, I know vibe's not really the best word to say, but the tone, the vibe, the emotion, right? I mean, because I think that, it's great to have a DC movie that's actually just fun. I just don't know if Superman was the right character.
And literally Captain America was created in the shadow of Superman to give Marvel a patriotic red, white, and blue. And I think that Marvel did it beautifully. He was very patriotic. I did not feel any patriotism whatsoever at all.
I agree. It reminded me of the show was it Bad Boys? Or the bad guy, the one, the boys.
You can't be fucking both. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that's just. I like the whole Ultraman thing, the whole like clone Superman thing, which I thought that was cool. Had a lot of fucking cool potential. I don't know if that's supposed to be like bizarre or something like that, but having that clone Superman, dude, how fucking cool.
Anakin Skywalker at one point.
It did feel like Anakin Skywalker, dude. How cool would it have been if that came from a different, like, another dimension, and bring Henry Cavill as the other Superman facing this other Superman here in this movie? That would have been bonkers shit, and I thought that they missed the mark on that. That would have been probably one of the biggest, like, oh my god thing.
Yeah, it would be so cool. It would have cool. Open the door to multi-dimensional. I mean, once again,
Henry Cavill is expensive, more like a Tyler Hoechlin, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So many great ideas with such poor execution. There's just no deep and dark sacrifice that all these characters are willing to make, and it just doesn't ring true.
Well, he is a punk rocker. Yes, he is. I mean, that's pretty cool.
That was probably one of the baddest scenes with that song comes up. Like that it closed off really well with that. Like, it made me happy with that. I don't like I stayed extra long to see two extended scenes. I felt like one was a throwback with Krypton, with a comic book, looking at the world, watching over the world. But overall, it was just like, I was expecting to see Batman. I was, or someone from somebody from the DC be like, "What's up? I'm the Flash, or I'm Batman." The misalignment of the building. That's what I had to stay there for that shit.
There's a reason for that, by the way. I mean, him trying to put together DC and shit like that. James Gunn, kind of like oh, that's a fucking metaphor of like him trying to put things.
It's still off. That's what I took it as. It's still off.
Yeah. That sort of thing.
I was hoping it was going to be like the world is just a little bit off because of what happened, and so it's going to unleash the shit from below.
Got to be someone out there. There's got to be someone who can control the tone of each individual movie and make it individually unique to those movies, and still come together in an overarching story. If Marvel did it once, I'm sorry, you could do it again. Just
let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes as of next year with Supergirl. Yeah, that's all we can do.
I mean, could you imagine if we're going to get stuck with a Joel Schumacher Batman? That's where this is heading. That's where it's heading.
With more quick.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze.
Oh, no. Oh, I thought you were talking about like Val Kilmer Batman Forever.
That's Jerry. You talking about Jerry Bruckheimer or Jerry Bruckheimer?
Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher and Mr. Freeze with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
give me Kiss on the Rose any day for a soundtrack.
Nipples on the Batman suits. I mean, that's where we're headed.
The thong was nice for the Batsuit, like right here.
Anyway,
and listeners, we have reached the end of review, and it's time for each of the hosts to provide a score.
Yeah, instantly though, I'm not gonna lie, Sean saw that the Smallville Giants. He leaned over to me, said they weren't the Smallville Giants. They were, what was it, Sean?
Crows. They were the Crows.
Smallville Crows. Yeah, so he
And
instantly just
excuse
found.
me, okay, when he said punk rock, right, and then that band that nobody's ever heard of that came up, why the fuck didn't he say, you know, I was a fan of Remy Zero. I was a fan of Remy fucking Zero. And then you could have had somebody say.
That's a good one. They just weren't punk rock, dude. Okay.
I know.
All right. Let's see where am I at. All right.
Take us through the.
You're good.
That's a good theme song. That's probably one of the best theme songs.
All right,
one of the best show openings. All right, tell me when we're ready to reveal here.
I'm ready.
Whew, here we go. 3,
2, 1.
This movie, James Gunn was able to do something. It made me look forward to other DC movies. Was it how I wanted it? No. But was it a good movie? Yes. And I watched it with my kids. My boys enjoyed it, and I looked over at one point, and they were just in it, like they were loving it. And I thought in my head, like, well, this is what it's all about. Like Superman still lives on in its own way, and I'm hoping that they bring out some other parts of Superman that maybe, Superman learns these other pieces of him. I feel like they missed the mark. It made it too funny for a superhero movie for me, and I feel like they were trying to just gear up for the next generation. The actor Superman, I'm hoping he's Superman for the next 10 years. He definitely laid it down. Lois Lane as well. The chemistry was there. The Daily Planet needs to be used more. It just wasn't used at all. It became a funny joke. They don't even write in that Daily Planet. They just sit there and they just talk shit about people, it seems. You have so many different areas that you could bring in Metropolis, and I felt like they missed here and there. And because of that, it was a movie that it fell a little bit short. It probably might get better with age, but for me, it's a 3.1. It's a 3.1. My kids said it was a 2, personally, but for me, it's a 3.1. So this is you're gonna Uber lifting home a full drink. You're Uber and lifting home a full drink.
You know, I mean, at this point, I hate saying it, but it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of superheroes, unless it's Batman. I think Batman's fantastic. I know, shocking. But there is and has always been over the last year this hope that Superman could do what I was hoping it would do, and that is to reignite some kind of, Sean, you say catharsis, I say kind of empathy, this feeling of just camaraderie and this uniting behind a character. I thought that they were going to do it. I thought that they were going to stick the landing. I thought the Gunn was going to do it, and unfortunately, what we got is just Guardians of the Galaxy 4, just with different capes. The humor just didn't land, and even if the humor didn't, wasn't my style of humor, the tone because of the humor was just off. And I'm not saying it was bad; it was just off. It wasn't Superman to me, and I think that it's not a lot of people's Superman.
I got tired of it after a while. Sorry.
Yeah, you did, right? And
yeah.
I mean, Eddie, I can absolutely agree with you. I took my son to it, and every time I looked over, he was just smiling and like cheering. And we get out of the movie, and he goes, "Did you like it, Dad?" And I was like, I don't want to lie to my son. So I said, "What did you think, buddy?" And he's like, "I loved it." And I was like, "That's good." And then we walked quicker to the car, because I see the excitement in him, but to me, it was just disappointing. I agree. I think that the acting was fantastic. I thought that the visuals, for the most part, were good. I don't think that the flying, the close up of the flying. I know that there was a lot of shit that it was given a couple weeks ago, months ago, about how like spacey he looked. I didn't think that they improved the look of it that well. But for the most part, the CGI was fine. But for me, this was bordering on a rough morning walk of shame. It's not all the way to a 4, but it's definitely in that 3 range. And then just to make life easy, I just went with 3.78 because the first Superman movie came out in 1978. So
before they go, Brandon, Marvel or DC?
I'm still gonna go DC, man. Batman DC, lives on.
You had some Marvel. Some Marvel greats
there. I
have
seen
though.
Wonder Woman. That was terrible. Did see Justice League. That was terrible. Saw Aquaman. That was terrible. Who knows? It might be MCU at this point. Who knows?
I think that this movie had all the makings of being great. I think it could have been great in perhaps a different director's hands. inspiring hope in Americans or people around the world to be better than they are, to rise above the pettiness. And this was a moment, especially in today's America, where he could have put a very unified movie about rising up, about overcoming racial prejudice, about overcoming all sorts of prejudices, to create a character that was indelible and that can defeat evil, not because he's strong, but because justice prevails. And that's what is missing, is the heart and soul of who Superman is. And he got the rest of it right. The costume was great, the look of the movie was great, the acting was great, the camaraderie and the chemistry between characters was fabulous. I'll even forgo the poor music because I do like John Murphy, but he bastardized John Williams. I'm sorry. John Williams is still alive, by the way. Let him do the fucking movie. Just let him do it. Anyway, there was so many opportunities in this movie with this cast to make a perfect movie about heart, about small things. All they need to do is focus on one person, changing the heart of that one person to make them a little softer or a little better. And then that is infectious and it spreads. And that's hope. That's what Superman does. There's a scene where a little kid takes this raggedy ass sign on this long post and he pushes it up into the air and he starts chanting Superman to come save them. After the parents had given their speech that he should procreate, after all that stupid shit, they still were calling his name. And that was a moment for him to inspire hope. And they had a conversation with Jonathan Kent and him, and they watched the TV, and that all culminated in him kind of reemerging in society. But that could have been done in a way that inspired people to make better decisions. For me, this movie is a 3.33. I gave it an extra 0.33 because the original Superman was created in 1933.
Look at you.
So that's my score, 3.33. Jeremiah, take us home. That's I believe it's a rough morning walk of shame, or is that a one? Wait,
no,
hold on.
it's your Uber you're lifting home.
Your Uber lifting home with a little bit of an extra shot.
And kryptonite.
Like a little kryptonite mixed in.
Listen, I appreciate my hosts. I'm grateful for their scores. The way how I look at it, listeners, is that for me, this is everything that you can ask for in a summer popcorn movie. Okay. I got to be there with my lady. I got to be there with my nephews, my dear friends, and we're watching in IMAX. It fucking look beautiful on the screen, you know. I was able to get to see the movie through the eyes of my nephews. Like, this is their Superman, and them going, oh, that's cool, you know. And that just brought joy to me. I'm like, yeah, that is cool, man, because this is your first experience, and got to see that, man. I have some issues with the movie, man. Like, there should have been more Clark Kent. Not really about the outfit, you know. I think the outfit, it's all the booty shorts and shit like that. Give me the fucking trunks, man. Show me how taller you are, and then try wearing these booty shorts and shit, dude. That's just my opinion, dude. And that's also Hannah's opinion.
So you want to see more of?
I wanted to see the thong on this fucking guy here. Okay. Listen, the cast was great. I mean, the chemistry was great. I mean, this felt like a comic book movie. Like, this movie was from a comic book, like you were reading from a comic book, you know? And again, not every comic book movie needs to be The Dark Knight, or has to be graphic, or has to be realistic. Sometimes it's just a fun comic book movie, you know? What this movie did was allow me to connect to that kid I once was, rooting for the Man of Tomorrow, last son of Krypton, the Man of Steel, and saving the planet once again. That's pretty cool, man. It's a happy buzz with half a shot with that. I had a good time. I had a good time in the theaters. I wish my buddies had a good time.
So what number is that, Teddy Bears?
We had a great time, by the way, just so you know.
A 2.25. It's a happy buzz with a half a shot. You go there for the experience to see this movie on the screen. Now, if it might be yours, that's cool. And if it isn't, you know, just to see it with your kids, you know, and you see like your nephews and you see your child lost in the moment, best fucking feeling, dude. Movies, theaters are the way to go. That's it.
I think we got a brand new score, guys.
I know, when you take those scores and divide by 4, what does the new Superman 2025 get an average rating of?
A 3.115.
And Jeremiah, where does that put us on the list of movies that we have reviewed thus far?
103.
I'm gonna say 84.
Okay. 84.
92.
Well, Brandon was very close, but he went over. So
Sean's right.
We are playing Price is
Price
Right.
is Right.
So
Price
the
is
winner
Right. Sean, come on up.
Come on down.
So what it is that it's 100, number 100 on our
okay.
list.
Oh, it's fitting.
Number 100. So what is better than Superman?
Tron Legacy, To
Mm.
All the Boys I Loved Before, Sean's favorite.
I like Tron. Tron is great. I like Tron. Keep
The
going.
Ring, V for Vendetta, 300,
Yep.
Troy,
Yeah.
The Age of Adeline, Minority Report.
And
Okay.
what's
I agree.
worse than what's worse than Superman?
I agree so far.
Star Trek First Contact.
Oh, you guys
This
are-
is
you guys are
40.
animals. You're animals.
This is 40. Okay.
Armageddon,
Ah!
It,
Oh,
Halloween,
Here, I agree.
Vertigo, that hurts, and Space Cowboys.
it might be a good spot, guys.
It
It
might
might
be
be a really
exactly
good
where it
spot.
should be.
Other than the fact that First Contact should be much better.
Much
Like,
lower
wow,
than
that
that,
was a
right?
Come on, dude.
That was a
We
tough
loved
one.
you.
We gave you on that one, bro. Be happy it's up that high.
Yeah,
We all had side texts going like, let Sean win this one.
I know, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. For this season, we really want to get more listener participation, so we've streamlined our process. Please direct message us on Instagram, leave comments on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to ring that bell and subscribe.
And also, please make sure to leave a 5-star review. Whatever you're listening, you can find all of our new episodes from season 6 on video and our previous episodes from season 1 to 5 with audio only. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long ways. Thank you so much.
It sure does. We are really excited to bring you all a combination of new films in theaters like Superman, classic movies like Lawrence of Arabia in the past, and some groundbreaking television shows like the final season of Stranger Things and season 2 of Wednesday.
Sean, wrap it up, though.
Please make sure to check us out on Instagram at the gentleman.podcast. I'm sorry, at the
Dot means a lot.
gentleman podcast. The dot means a lot. Let me do that again. Eddie kerfuffled me.
But Eddie's coming from Gotham, so that's why the reason why he's all looking
no.
different from his back cave.
Please make sure to check us out on Instagram at the Gentleman Podcast. The dot means a lot, where Jeremiah puts movies, pictures of our cocktails, recipes, and out clips, all sorts of things. He works really hard on that, so we should give him props for that. But yeah, check us out there. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out anywhere podcasts are available. If anyone has anything else, I say we say cheers, and we'll see you next week for. Actually, we'll see you again this week, I believe, for a last call with 3.5 Gentlemen. Is that correct, there, Jeremiah?
That's correct. We're gonna be doing the top 10 of movies of our list for the 21st century, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. Can't wait to talk about it.
Cheers, guys.
Superman's going to be on my list.
Cheers,
Cheers, gentlemen. Ruthless. Hey, he fucking makes sense now with his glasses. I didn't know that.
No, that's not canon. That's bullshit.
That's awesome.
I think it works. It works.
It works. It makes sense.